Hey.
My sound just went out.
You just went out? Great. That's all right. You'll figure it out. Hello, everyone. This is
I can't believe this.
Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the DisruptMeister. Andy just went offline, but don't worry, he'll figure it out.
Sound just went out.
Well,
oh wait, now it's echoing.
You'll figure it out. Hello. You got to close some browsers. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show today, September the 10th, everyone. We're getting everything straightened out here. Don't worry. Pound that like button, everybody. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. We're going to have a very special show today. We got Andy is just fixing everything, which is great. Sorry about that. He's going to come right back in. Now, everybody, get your questions ready for Andy. This is the question and answer show. Hello, my elite friends. Type in BitcoinMeister. Do a super chat to get my attention. It's all good. Taval Dakra said there's an echo. Yeah, we knew there was an echo there, but there's no echo anymore. We have fixed that because Andy went off there for a second. So we've been on for 1 minute and 40 seconds. And don't worry, Andy will be back, everybody. For all you dudes that are listening to this, I hopefully edit all this out. Let's see if Andy has returned. There you are, Andy. You see me? Yes.
I'm here, but I'm hearing it all over the place.
So we've been on for 1 minute and 40 seconds.
You got to just close. You got some browsers open, perhaps.
Yeah.
That are listening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you have some browsers open?
There you are, Andy. You see me?
Adam, I am hearing you, and I have no browsers open, and I hear you in 10 different places. I have one.
You gotta just.
All right, we'll work on this. Everyone, we're happy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You have.
I'm just if I have anything open on my end, I don't think I do.
Adam, I am hearing you, and I have no browsers open.
All right. Very strange that we're echoing like this. Turn your down, maybe.
Everyone.
Oh no, Andy, you gotta put headphones on.
No headphones.
Yeah, you don't have any? You don't have any headphones? You don't have any headphones?
Where's the chat?
Hang on. I'm going to send you hang on. I got the chat open here. 1 second. 1 second. You don't have any?
I hear so many echoes.
You don't have any headphones?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. All right, I'll try headphones.
I'm going to send you 1 second.
Oh, yeah. I hear so many echoes. Okay, I put headphones on.
And how's that?
I still hear tons of stuff, and I have no browsers open, nothing.
You sure? I don't hear anything now.
I
don't
do.
hear that echoing.
We should start over again. Is there any way we can do
No, there's wait, just don't worry. We're good.
How do I get rid of all this sound? It's crazy.
It just made a difference on my end.
The echoing is gone.
Yeah, the echoing's gone.
Nope. Yeah. Now I hear echo from things I said 2 minutes ago.
You sure there's no browser open? There's nothing else open on your end.
Nothing. There's nothing open.
Because we're not hearing the echo anymore.
No, I said that minutes ago.
Yeah, it's better. People are saying it's better now. It's good for us. It's good for me too. Okay, here, I got it again.
Adam?
Yeah, hang on. I'm here.
Echoing.
It's
terrible. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Everything stopped. All the echo. Finally.
It's gone? No echoes?
No, it's echoing again. It's echoing again.
Leave the room, leave the Jitsi, and then click on the link again and come back in.
Okay. Oh.
All right, guys. You get to see it, how it all gets put together behind the scenes here. Hey, So yeah, get your questions ready, people. I wonder what he's hearing. I mean, you guys aren't hearing it now. We're 5 minutes into the show. We're having quite an adventure. Pound that conviction. Indeed, I've got the conviction. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. All right, so Andy is setting things up. So remember tomorrow, guys. Friday is tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. This week in Bitcoin, it's going to be great. Anders is going to be on the show. 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Ken Bozak should be on the show tomorrow. And who is our third guest for tomorrow? We got Gigi coming in from the European continent. So let's see. We're waiting for Andy to come back in here. Oh, yeah, you guys can ask me any questions also. This is an Ask Me Anything. You can ask me any questions now also. You can ask Andy questions. You can ask me questions. It all goes. It's a wild time. Retweet this. I just sent you guys the retweet link out there. Oh, it's good to we got some of the classics here in the chat today. I mean, we're ready for a big show. This is the best freaking guest in the space. You better believe it, people. Just waiting on Andy to return. So ask people. You got questions. I got answers. Come on. This is your time to get some of those questions answered. Now, I do want to say yesterday's show, we talked about Barry Silbert's company purchasing Luno. Luno is an exchange that's all over the world. It's in Africa. The thing I forgot to say yesterday is that it was on CNBC. He was talking about it on CNBC. And someone said, get Schiff's son on your show. Well, if he's under 18, I don't think that's YouTube likes that very much. All right. But yeah, so Luno was purchased by Barry Silbert's digital currency group. And there he is on CNBC. And I thought to myself, and this is what I forgot to mention yesterday, is like, wow, the world has changed so much that now CNBC has a crypto story, interviewing a crypto guy about buying a crypto company. And it shows you the progress in this space. Now, I told Andy Hoffman that, and he had a very interesting take on that, much different than me. So, okay, he's coming back here.
Now I can't hear you. Oh, my God.
Right. Is it good?
Holy cow.
Is it better? Yes. How you doing with it?
Choose your input.
Andy's back, it looks like, and I can't wait to talk to him. I hear you. You good? Andy.
I'm muted. I can't hear.
You can't.
Holy
You're muted, you said.
Unable to access camera, but the camera works. Dismiss.
All right. All right.
I can't hear you.
I hear you. I hear you.
Trying everything. Oh, it's fucking amazing. Never anything like this. Choose your input. Adam?
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Doesn't work.
Adam, will you have Plan B on the show? I would like to. I've never asked him to be on the show before. I don't know him. What exchange is the best option to turn MWC to BTC? They all seem kind of shady. Well, they are. Hey, it's amazing that you haven't turned your MWC to BTC yet. That's a question for Andy.
Adam.
Yes.
Okay, I think I know what the problem was. You hear me?
Yes.
Yes, because it needed me to add Jitsi to Chrome.
All right, let's start talking about what's going on in the world today. Let's talk about the DeFi real quick here. I got a quote. I was just emailed. Well, first of all, here there was a there was a question for you that's a legitimate question. We'll get back to it in a second.
Okay.
But here, let's talk about the DeFi. I was emailed this right before the show from CoinDesk of all people. Okay, the future of DeFi is here. The DeFi economy won't wait for you. We invite you to attend CoinDesk Invest Ethereum Economy on October the 14th, 2020. This virtual event experience will explore the road ahead for staking, sharding, and decentralized finance as the world's second largest blockchain undergoes the beginning steps of a multi-year overhaul. And Vitalik Buterin is going to be the main speaker there. This is CoinDesk that is promoting this, okay? So when my take on this is this DeFi thing, as I've said many, many times, it's just getting started. They seem to be big fans of Ethereum over there. And a lot of people can say what they want about DeFi and Ethereum, but this is one of the major megaphones in the mainstream cryptocurrency space. So if they're clearly all in on this, I think we're in for quite a ride here. So what is your take on DeFi and Ethereum?
Wow, I had to just go through all that just to get on here, and then bam, the big question comes right at me.
Yeah,
there's so much to talk about here. I mean, I think the biggest story here is that the world, you talked about the other day, I said that all rationality has left financial markets. And you can call it that the Federal Reserve, all the money printing, the manipulation, all that has just changed the nature of everything to the point where there's no analysis anymore. I mean, I'm a CFA, and that business died long ago, rational stock analysis, because it's all about basically the money printing and manipulation. Now it's become social media and memes. When it comes to DeFi, it honestly almost makes ICOs look smart. ICOs, it was a risk that someone would take your money and not do anything with it. In fact, it was a 99% risk, but at least it was sort of rational if you believe that someone had a good idea. In this case, the idea itself is ridiculous. Most people, including myself, had to strain to really think, what is it exactly that they're talking about that they're so excited about? DeFi, of course, stands for decentralized finance, but it's not in the slightest way decentralized, and there's not a shred of finance going on. All it is basically, I mean, it redefines Ponzi scheme, because every one of these things is an exit scam, and every single one of them, people are, quote, yield farming for things that are inherently worthless. I mean, we just saw how many during last week, like 100 of these DeFi tokens dropped 95, 98% in a day. Like, why would you want to mine something that has no value, that has no track record, and that you can see, like, already there people are back in these things trying to buy yield of things that are worthless. Now, if you could somehow figure a way to yield Bitcoin, maybe that would be great, especially if you could yield it by staking something less valuable. But you can't even yield Ethereum with this.
Uh-oh. Andy. I think Andy went away there. Andy, your sound, you went off there.
Oh no, not again.
All right, there you go. I can hear you now. All right, you said you can't even mine Ethereum. You can't even you can't even get Ethereum.
Sorry, Adam. Now the sound left again.
Hang on. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think your connection's a little bad now, it says. But can you hear me?
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Hang on. You got me?
I can't hear again.
All right, hang on. Testing. All right, your sound.
I can sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still here.
I don't know what to do.
We're still here. All right. Let me send you it. All right. He left. He'll be back. Oh, we were in the exciting moment there.
I'm here.
Yes. All right.
The sound left again.
Yeah. Wait. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Sorry. Nothing I could do.
You can't hear me now?
Oh, good.
All right. You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So keep on talking about, you were saying you can't even get Ethereum from the DeFi.
I mean, you have to stake Ethereum or Bitcoin to get something of lesser value. And the things that you're staking are things that really have no value. And a few of them have, done better than others. But as you saw last week, most of them collapsed and lost all their value. And sure enough, people are at it again. I mean, what I've been watching, it's been really remarkable. I'll go over the big Bitcoin stories of 2020 in a second. But we're in a world right now where it's an altcoin mania, but only for a handful of altcoins. There are now 7,000 of them. I think last year there were 5,000, and probably in 2017 there might have been 1,000 or 2,000. And really only a handful of them are getting all of the money, but none of them are doing anything for anybody. But that's what people are speculating. And right now, it's been the last, I would say, 10 to 12 days. Bitcoin, you don't even need to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is following Ethereum tick for tick. And when Ethereum goes up, Bitcoin underperforms it. And when Ethereum goes down, it outperforms it. But net, the world is caring only about a handful of altcoins. They care about tech. They care about a handful of altcoins. DeFi is the center of this mania, but DeFi is probably the worst of all the Ponzi schemes and worthless things that have come to crypto. And in time, it will go away just like the rest.
All right. I want to remind everybody, pound that like button. And and appeared again. It seems like there must be something loose there.
Sound again.
It must be something loose on your end. No. It's also your connection is poor, it says. Could have something to do with that. All right. There we go.
Yeah, it's like I keep losing sound and then I have to come back in.
Oh, you're losing the connection. It seems like too.
I left it because the sound went. I couldn't get it back. And
all right, so you hear me at least.
Yes, now I hear you.
This is Andy's last podcast before he turns 50. So we all have to wish him a happy birthday too.
And I've done hundreds of podcasts, and I've never had one with this much trouble. Hundreds.
Dude, you're going out like a lion here, and it's rough on you. Don't worry. I mean, sometimes okay. So let's continue. So you say it's following Ethereum. The price of Bitcoin is following Ethereum.
Yeah.
One thing that you pointed out to me off air before is that when Ethereum has crashed during the last week or whatever, when both of them have crashed, Ethereum has definitely lost value in terms of Bitcoin. I mean,
oh yeah, but as you see, once it rebounds, it gains value versus Bitcoin, and it's basically it's what I see is, and I tweeted this a few weeks ago, even before this kind of weird correlation came about, that sentiment, despite even getting to 12,000, and maybe look, the day that we pumped to 12,000, it was very exciting, but I would say sentiment in the Bitcoin sector, despite all of the great things going on in the backdrop, is very, very weak right now. It's incredibly bullish that we've been maintaining this incredible over $10,000 for so long in such a weak sentiment environment.
Well, are you saying it's weak because I think you're putting it in perspective with the Ethereum sentiment? I think you're just comparing it to that. If the Ethereum DeFi stuff wasn't there, I think you would say I don't think that there's a negative sentiment toward Bitcoin at all. I
think the investment community largely at the moment has little real interest in it. They've been too busy focusing on altcoins and tech stocks, and Bitcoin has been climbing a wall of worry for months now. But my point is that because the way I see it, there's so little supply out there now after the halving, and with the big buyers out there having very little real excitement, no FOMO with the exception of maybe a day or two here or there. It's been amazing. It's just showing that slowly but surely the network is building and demand's building, but I mean, if you talk about altcoins being in a mania, to me, Bitcoin and gold for that matter are the complete opposite. There is very, very little interest, which is extremely, extremely bullish for the future. And if you'd like, I'm going to list my big stories of 2020, which will put into perspective how crazy it is that people are so excited about yield farming for yams as opposed to Bitcoin.
Well, they're gamblers. I mean, that's the 80%er mentality. Most people want to gamble. Most people don't have long-term thinking. They want the latest and greatest, hottest thing. And that's what it's the flavor of the month. It's more than the flavor of the month, this DeFi stuff. It's going to be the flavor of the next 8 to 10 to 18 months, perhaps. Now, wait, before we get into the 2020 summary here, there is a question that is a practical question from Ride Fast Jump.
Oh my God.
All right. I'm the only one in the meeting, it says. All right. There you go. Hey, just keep your, Andy, what you could do,
Yeah.
I think, keep your video off. Keep the video off. It's your connection that keep your video
No,
off.
I'm taking the video off because the sound keeps going off, and the only way I get it back is to go out and go back
Yeah,
in.
but just keep, I think we should experiment with the video off just for a
Okay.
little bit. Yeah.
I could do that. Okay.
All right. So there's a practical question from an audience
Yes.
member. Ride. What's this? Let me get it again. Ride fast, jump in high, 420. What exchange is the best option to turn the MWC crypto dividend into Bitcoin? They all seem kind of shady. I told them, yeah, they are all shady. But is there still an option? I mean, it's pretty amazing. Someone's held it on for this long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even if you held on this long, if you got it free, great. In fact, it's even more than when I started talking about it. The only time I actually told anyone to buy it was when it was like 0.0001. But now I'm begging people to sell because you see what's happening in the community. They're desperate. So the dev team, it's really just one or two guys, are giving away the entire dev fund, 2.3 million MWC, which it'll be as of I think Wednesday or Thursday. So it's just gonna be an avalanche of selling. If you're going to sell, there's only two exchanges where anything goes on. One is Trade Ogre. The problem is you have to send it by this weird file method. You can't send it normally, and most people can't do that. Plus, there's very low volume there. So you really have to go to Bit4x. That's where all the real volume is. Most of it's fake, but that's the only real trading. And that it will require 5,000 confirmations because the hash rate is so low. That takes about 3.5 days. But that's the only real way you're going to sell. And do it quick because Luigi is the only buyer and Luigi is the only miner right now.
All right, you got some altcoin info there. Thanks for that question. Remember, people, you can ask questions of me, of Andy. That's what the Thursday show is all about. Somebody out there has met me in Long Beach. LSG is in the house. Hello. Yes, I loved being in Long Beach. I hope to return there. They've got a great community. Gaston is awesome, and Robert is awesome. Everybody's awesome in Long Beach in the house. All right, Andy, let's go back. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in a second, but with the Ethereum, because you're not a fan of Ethereum here. Or what's going on? But do you believe the price will continue to rise for the foreseeable future with all the hype that's out there?
Well, it's funny, in all the years that I've been in the sector, I've spent very little time talking about Ethereum. It's just kind of one of these things that you observe. I've never had the slightest interest in owning it. I've observed all the things that it's done, the growth, the problems. And I mean, I've always thought that almost all coins are worthless. Now I remember at one point I said 90%, then I took it to 95. Now I'm at the point where I'm 99.9. There's got to be something that's worth something out there. But right now, I don't see a single coin that's worth anything. Ethereum was always a mystery because it's so complex. And does it really do things that Bitcoin can't do? And I suppose maybe some of the things it does, Bitcoin wouldn't want to do. But the net result, when I see people talk about, well, the tech is really exciting and one day it may turn out to be something amazing. I just don't see that. I really don't see it. I see it as, I don't even write much anymore. The last article I wrote was Ethereum is a plague and Bitcoin a divine blessing. Because the more that I see this, the more I think about that throughout its history, all it's done is damage. It seems like anytime there's something terrible going on where people lose a lot of money, it's because of Ethereum. It's incredibly centralized. It's made tons of mistakes. There's so much hype around these things they're going to do, which probably wouldn't be positive even if they do. Ethereum 2.0, yield farming, ICOs, smart contracts, all the gas fees, all these. It's everything about it seems like if you touch it, you'll lose money in some way, shape, or form. And I think that ultimately, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll become something useful. Right now, I see it more as just a plague because not only is it causing people to lose money, but it's also detracting attention. If all the attention was in Bitcoin, we could move faster. But it'll be, Ethereum. As long as people are going to be speculating, they'll buy it, and there's always going to be someone that believes that Ethereum is the next Bitcoin, and tech people love to believe that because it's so complex that it must be accomplishing something. But right now, I just think it's more of a distraction, and I really don't care either way. It'll probably go up, but someday something terrible might happen to it because it seems to everything that it touches seems to cause bad things.
It should be interesting to keep our eyes on that. I of course say Ethereum is the next Ethereum for what it's worth for those people. All right, people, remember, if you have questions, you got to type in BitcoinMeister or do a super chat. I see a lot of people talking now. I can't read the whole entire chat. You just got to get my attention with it. That's how you ask a question. Type in BitcoinMeister or do a super chat. It changes colors and then it gets my attention, and it's totally awesome. Before we go into your big events of the 2020s, when we were having technical difficulties, I brought up yesterday's show and how off air I said to you that I thought it was great that Barry Silbert got on CNBC, and we're living in this awesome time now where CNBC wants to cover a crypto guy buying a crypto exchange that's in Africa and Asia. And you had a very interesting take on why you thought they had Barry on the show. Do you remember what you said to me? Oh, Andy, you there? Oh, Lord. Andy Hoffman. Oh, it went off again. All right. All right. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back, and I heard your question. Yes. So yes, I think it's a no-brainer what happened. I mean, Barry Silbert paid a huge amount of advertising money into CNBC, and obviously part of the deal was we'll give you an interview, right?
Yes.
And it's funny because the thing that they picked, I mean, if they really wanted to do something useful, they'd say, wow, Barry, your DCG is now, one of the 2 or 3 biggest Bitcoin holders in the world. You're buying more Bitcoin than is being produced. You're investing $100 million in Bitcoin mining, but instead they're like, let's talk about some dumb little exchange you bought that nobody's heard about. Like, typical CNBC. The bigger issue, by the way, which I'll bring up in my list in a second, is that Palm today in interview Cramer on CNBC talk about Bitcoin. That would be interesting.
Oh man, he's got a lot of 80%ers that blindly follow him. He's an 80%. That dude, man, I would not listen to that's some mainstream stuff. But hey, that's great that anyone's welcome here. If he really bought Bitcoin, that's good for him. And I do hope he mentions it to his impulsive very, very mainstream type of audience. He's a million miles a minute. All right. So give us your you want to talk about your 2020 events here. It's been a crazy year. Remember, just in case you can't say the name of the plague that's going on because YouTube doesn't like the name of the plague.
That's not on my list at all.
Okay, good.
That's just the great accelerator of all of these trends. Probably a lot of these things wouldn't have happened if it weren't for that thing. So I actually in some ways we should thank it because it probably will increase or accelerate the adoption of Bitcoin. But anyway, the reason I brought it up was simply I just keep thinking about, and what I was saying before, how right now in the crypto space, Bitcoin has really gone up lately, mostly on the coattails of altcoins because, hey, people are speculating in altcoins. So money goes into space and some goes into Bitcoin. I mean, that will change, of course. But consider this to me, and I followed this gold forever and Bitcoin. Right, fundamentals for Bitcoin have never been better. And the news flow, I mean, you think about 2017, 16, even 2019, none of these things were around and people were more excited. But look, here's what's going on in 2020 with people not particularly interested in Bitcoin. Okay, the hash rate, Adam, do you know what the hash rate is compared to what it was in 2017 when we hit $20,000?
I do know on your Twitter feed, you give us updates. Follow Andy below. His Twitter is linked to below.
Yes.
Follow him. Yes, you're always happy about it.
Well, yes. When we hit $20,000 in 2017, the hash rate was 1/12 what it is today. It is 12 times the hash rate today as it was just 3 years ago. Not even 3 years ago. So that's number one on my list. Second, we now have sovereign nations publicly mining Bitcoin. Last week, Kazakhstan announced they're spending $700 million, and no one had even talked about Kazakhstan. We know Iran and Venezuela are there, and today I just read that the Ukraine has a large hash rate. So anyone who thinks that China controls mining, no, we're rapidly decentralizing, and we're talking about some major institutional entities that are joining. One day soon we'll find out how much Fidelity, by the way, is mining, since we know that Abby Johnson has $1,000, and we're just 3 months after the third halving. As well, and no one seems to be caring about this, we're closing in on the potentially explosive growth of the stock to flow model. And whether you believe in that model or not, we all know that a year after the 2012 and 2016 hash rate halvings is when the price exploded, and we're getting close to that right now. The Fed nearly doubled its balance sheet in the last 6 months and promised zero interest rates for 5+ years and unlimited QE. The dollar has weakened to multi-year lows despite all nations dramatically expanding money printing, and Goldman Sachs with as much to gain from continuation, and we're just 3 months after the third halving. As well, and no one seems to be caring about this, we're closing in on the potentially explosive growth of the stock to flow model. And whether you believe in that model or not, we all know that a year after the 2012 and 2016 hash rate halvings is when the price exploded, and we're getting close to that right now. The Fed nearly doubled its balance sheet in the last 6 months and promised zero interest rates for 5+ years and unlimited QE. The dollar has weakened to multi-year lows despite all nations dramatically expanding money printing, and Goldman Sachs with as much to gain from continuation of the monetary status quo as anyone says the dollar's days as reserve currency are numbered. We've seen explosive growth in Bitcoin demand from retail products like Cash App, Square, and Robinhood. Equally explosive growth, as I said before, at DCG, which is currently buying more Bitcoin in mining production, in doing so becoming one of the largest BTC holders and mining and spending now $100 million on mining. Ditto for BTC retail products. Oh, I already said that one. And massive institutional adoption gains catalyzed by, the OCC, that's the Office of the Control of the Currency, approving banks as crypto custodians. Fidelity's established itself as a crypto custodian, but as anyone says the dollar's days as reserve currency are numbered. We've seen explosive growth in Bitcoin demand from retail products like Cash App, Square, and Robinhood. Equally explosive growth, as I said before, at DCG, which is currently buying more Bitcoin in mining production, in doing so becoming one of the largest BTC holders and mining and spending now $100 million on mining. Ditto for BTC retail products. Oh, I already said that one. And massive institutional adoption gains catalyzed by, the OCC, that's the Office of the Control of the Currency, approving banks as crypto custodians. Fidelity's established itself as a crypto custodian and is launching a huge Bitcoin fund. Paul Tudor Jones, the most famous manager of our time, took a BTC position. And other major hedge fund managers who would never have dreamed of buying gold, like Ray Dalio and Stan Druckenmiller, have huge gold positions now, and it's only logical that they move to Bitcoin next. Warren Buffett sold all his bank stocks and bought a gold miner and Japanese trading companies, clearly worried about the dollar. Buffett is, you know how old Warren Buffett is?
Yeah, everybody knows who he is.
No, do you know how old he is?
Oh, how old is he? Almost 90, or he is
He's
90.
90. And you know how old his right-hand man, Charlie Munger, is?
Old, I don't know.
96.
Whoa.
Yes, and pretty soon someone who is not those two guys is going to have to manage the $140 billion of cash on their balance sheet, which is close to what Bitcoin is worth. Okay, then we have today, I talked about Jim Cramer, but that's it's just more mainstream people that are talking about it. If he starts talking about it, it will matter, even if CNBC's ratings are not what they once were. Okay, and then of course, MicroStar, a 1 billion market cap NASDAQ listed company, invested $250 million, or a quarter of its entire market cap, in Bitcoin to buy 0.1% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. Other small companies that followed opened the door for Bitcoin to be a corporate in the United States. Which brings me to the Coinbase IPO. If it even gets done, because they may be acquired beforehand, which will be a huge watershed event for mainstream crypto, because then people will have a way to follow crypto and to invest in it on Wall Street. And of course, behind that will become the Bitcoin ETF. We all know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. And then, of course, there's Caitlin Long's Avanti Bank, which is getting close to getting its charter to be the first crypto bank. And once that first one goes, there's going to be many others behind it. Then in technology, we're talking about all these new Bitcoin technologies that no one's really paying attention to. Liquid, Stripe, Zap. Everyone knows the Lightning Network is exploding. All these multi-sig storage options, which are becoming available, and of course the imminent network upgrade to Taproot Schnorr, which will be a huge deal for scaling and privacy. And then of course we have all the social political chaos heading into this crazy, and of course the fiscal and monetary stimulus we'll see heading into it. And last but not least, Wyoming is likely to elect a Bitcoin hodler, an official Bitcoin hodler to the Senate. We have guys like Tom Emmer in Congress. So more and more in the political world, we're seeing Bitcoin get mainstream adoption. And this is at a time when people are focused more on DeFi.
Well, people want the flavor of the month, man. That's what's going on. CoinDesk is having events based around it. It's the new flashy thing, and I saw the last flashy thing. So did you. ICO, it comes and goes. But yeah, you gave the lowdown there on the Bitcoin, the fundamentals. Those are some incredible fundamentals there, from Caitlin Long to MicroStrategy. All right. You there still, Andy?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to go off and come back. That's all
right, good. Don't worry. I just gave a summation of what you said. Now, one thing that you didn't talk about there that's been in the news, and by the way, of all those news stories, well, I'm biasing this question.
MicroStar.
Okay, you think MicroStrategy was the biggest one? That's what I was going to say. MicroStrategy was the biggest.
Well, I'm saying that you say that's the biggest, but to me, there are so many big ones there. I mean, huge ones. If you told me even 6 months ago that major hedge fund managers would join, or that Warren Buffett would be buying gold, or that Fidelity would be establishing a Bitcoin fund. I mean, and then of course what the Fed did. And that Kazakhstan would invest $700 million and talk about it mining. I mean, these are all massive events, massive.
The Warren Buffett thing really, though, it's not Bitcoin. It's gold. It's
not even gold. It's not even gold because he bought a crappy gold miner. I mean, and Barrick really is a bad company. And as everyone knows who follows me, I don't believe in gold anymore. I think it's obsolete. And I also believe that miners are the worst. Well, I mean, I was in the mining business. It's the worst possible investment because even if people are right, even if Peter Schiff is right, and gold goes to $10,000, $50,000, who knows what the number is? The second anything like that happens, they'll just confiscate the mines, and that's part of the reason why the gold miners don't go up that much, because they know, the investors, that would never, that you're never going to have mining just be some separate private entity if gold ever became a big monetary asset again. But the point is with Warren Buffett that's so important is that he doesn't, it's not even just a hint that he doesn't like the dollar. He's actually saying, I am scared for the dollar. I am scared for the inflation that's coming, and that's why I'm doing this. And knowing, as I do, that gold miners, first of all, there's not that many gold miners out there that he could even invest in. And second of all, that they're not going to be good investments. And third of all, that he and Charlie Munger are shortly going to be gone. We're not talking about MicroStrategies having, $500 million. They have $140 billion to protect. And if inflation becomes a real fear, he's going to have to put some in Bitcoin, because there's just, you won't even be able to buy physical gold. I wouldn't want to have huge amounts of physical gold, which could be confiscated. But it's not even available to source, and it's just obsolete compared to Bitcoin. I can guarantee you, I'm going to say it right here, that some of that $140 billion is going to be in Bitcoin at some point in the coming years, just like some of Apple's $100 billion is going to be in Bitcoin, and some of everybody's multi-billion dollars is going to be there. And so I just think that Warren Buffett, of all the people who has disparaged gold and talked about King Dollar and don't bet against the United States, is finally realizing at the end of his life that this whole Ponzi scheme is over, and he better start thinking about protecting his money.
Okay, so you're not too confident in the dollar either, but and we're going to get into that. But
I'm not confident for the dollar against real items of value. You saw my tweet storm today. I don't care about the dollar index. I don't believe the dollar index could crash. The whole thing, Peter Schiff, it's going to fall below 70 and 60 and 50. because the dollar index is just the euro. The dollar is not going to crash to oblivion against the euro. The euro will not be able to survive anything that causes that much damage to the dollar. The euro is on the verge of breaking up to start with. So like I said today, you could have hyperinflation in the United States, like Zimbabwe, and still the dollar index could go up because things could be worse in Europe, especially if the euro collapses. So I don't care about the dollar index, but I do believe the dollar's value, its purchasing power against items of real value, be it gold or Bitcoin or consumer products, is going to keep crashing violently.
All right, we got a question from LSG, Lightspeed Gallery, and I don't exactly understand. You might need to clarify it here, dude. You said Digibyte, question mark, with a hybrid gaming console Autocrypt miner.
It's a altcoin.
Yeah, we know that, but let's just see no KYC, no fiat on ramp. Just buy something like a PlayStation to mine and spend in game. So you're saying that LSD, I'm trying to understand what your question is. Do we think it's cool to be able to mine something with a simple miner like a PlayStation, even if that simple miner mines something called Digibyte? I mean,
hey, look at with the Sun Exchange, that thing that Max Kaiser's talking about. You can mine Bitcoin with solar panels. Now that's useful.
Max is talking about that now?
Yeah, it's the sponsor of his show now.
The Abe's been on this show plenty. I haven't talked to Abe for a while.
Yeah.
Wow, Max. Maybe that's why Max is talking about, because he's the sponsor of his show. But
yeah.
Okay, this Digibyte guy. Hang on, clarify what you exactly meant. If I answered your question, great. I think it's great that altcoins can create a situation where they can be mined easily in a game. I think that's creative. I'm not into destroying altcoins. I think they should innovate on their own. I know a lot of people think it's they should all be destroyed. Go ahead, creative ways of mining. That's cool.
Well, I agree with you on compete, don't complain. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want. Look, if you can make money mining Digibyte off your game console, good for you. But it's funny with me because everyone knows that I started out as, I don't know, not the word maximalist, but that I was all in Bitcoin. I followed the space just like anyone else. It's a long, winding road going from when I started in 2013 to where I am today. I had to learn and experiment and see things, and and where I am right now is, it's pretty. I'm pretty clear about what I say. Is that I believe that there is not a single altcoin, and maybe there will be someday, but I'm not going to spend any time worrying about it.
Okay. LSG, thank you again for that. I hope, tell us if you, thanks for the contribution to the show. And if you need any more elaboration, if I didn't properly answer the question, do tell me. Now, Andy, one thing you didn't bring up in the 2020 events was someone that's from Long Island, like you are. You've got a unique perspective on Dave Portnoy. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, that's funny. Well, it's just a perfect example. Like when I think about him, I can't decide if I want to, if I want to show respect or disdain, because there's so much about what he does that I disapprove of: the gambling and the cursing and the, just the lack of analysis, just kind of in many ways being a hero of the stupid. At the same time, he's accomplished amazing things and has a huge following. So it's just a sign of the times, because look, Jim Cramer used to be the hero of the stupid. He had more credibility because he was once at Goldman Sachs, but he admitted to pretty much criminal things, and he's lost people a lot of money because of his arrogance and ego. But he was a genius and a scholar compared to what the world is now. People are following just the equivalent of trash. I'm sorry, that's how I view him. And I have, I think disdain is what comes over me. It's just sad that, I'm a financial analyst, as, a CFA, I have a 30-year career. No one cares about, if I say intelligent things. They just want to hear, memes and curses, and, it's just sad. It's just what the world's become. And, you go with it. And frankly, when you just become a Bitcoin hodler and you don't worry about the other stuff, it doesn't matter. It's just noise.
So Portnoy has gone from sports to stocks to cryptocurrency. What is your take on the that's how wild the stock bubble is now. What is your take on the stock bubble, or if it is a bubble?
Well, I don't think so much it's a bubble of sentiment. It's a bubble of Fed finance. I mean, if there's one thing that, Peter Schiff has right, and many others, it's all about the money. And, like Max Kaiser and others will talk about it, but I have too. If you look at the tweet today from Plan B, where he shows the stock markets. I've been talking about these things for years. It's nothing new. Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Iran. When you have hyperinflation, the stock market explodes. I mean, and to me, that's pretty much what we're seeing today. You'll get bouts of FOMO and despair if it goes down for a few days, but for the most part, the market is starting to price in the inflation that the Fed has been doing and is promising us. I mean, they doubled their balance sheet in 6 months. How could people not expect the stock market to go up? They promised just last week when people say, "Oh, the Fed they disappointed, they didn't say much." No, they pretty much said they will keep interest rates at zero forever. But not like you needed to be a rocket scientist to know this. We're up to 27 trillion of debt. We'll shortly be at 30. We could be at 40 trillion next year. And this is basically, to me, not a bubble. It's just a bubble. It's just the beginning of the end of the dollar. And that's why when I say that the sentiment in Bitcoin and gold is so weak, I couldn't emphasize it more, because if people are really, really getting to the next phase of fear, Bitcoin would be 50,000 by now. And I do believe by this time next year, it will be $1 trillion asset.
Oh, there's a prediction there. People like to hear those words. They love to hear a trillion, and that's clickbait right there. But
I think it will be accompanying much worse times. I mean, look, the economy is getting worse, no matter how you slice it. They can say whatever they want in their jobs reports, but everyone on the ground knows that the debt is exploding, the jobs are not there, the businesses are closing, and that the COVID is going to cause a dramatic change in consumer behaviors. At the same time, we're also going to have more government stimulus, and whether it be the Democrats or the Republicans that win in November. And you know what? If the Democrats do wind up winning, we're going to go straight to full-blown socialism beyond anything anyone has ever seen before, and that will rapidly decline demand confidence in the dollar.
So that brings up the topic of universal basic income. That it's definitely on the table for 2021. There was the story. I really like the story out of eToro with their what I talked about yesterday. What did they call it? eToro launches the good dollar, which is going to be their own UBI. So perhaps it's just a part, but I would rather cryptocurrencies experiment with UBI and with reparations than the government jump in, because the government doing. I mean, I'm positioned very well if the government does that, but most people aren't going to like it if the government starts really turning up the printing prices to a hyper speed. But did you have any take on the private UBI there from eToro?
Yeah, well, I mean, if they can call it whatever they want. It's not UBI. It's just they're trying to gain market share. I mean, look, it would be no different than if look, Binance Coin, right? They're the biggest exchange. They say, well, look, we're burning our Binance Coin to make it more valuable. But they could just as easily say, you know what? We're going to give every new client 10 Binance coins. And why are they going to do it? Because they're going to trade like hell on all the other altcoins. And then you know what they could do? They could, if it gets more hype and the price goes up, well, now we're going to burn some more. So it's just a marketing gimmick. They're just trying to get people to come to eToro. And we know eToro spends a lot of money on marketing, because I probably see more eToro ads on YouTube than anything. They're just constantly there. So they're trying. But if you're talking about actual UBI, it's a very dangerous concept because, well, first of all, I can only see that happening if the Democrats won. I cannot imagine, as liberal as they've gotten, I can't imagine a Republican administration outwardly calling for UBI. But if you do, all it is just more money printing. I mean, I think the day they announced something like that, the dollar would dramatically crash and Bitcoin could double that day. So I don't even think it's feasible, because I just think we're already at a point where the dollar is losing so much value. And if you said it all at once, we're going to now permanently disincentivize working and permanently turn up the printing presses. I think that would be pretty much the end game of the dollar. So I just don't understand how that could possibly be. I think they got away with this first round because of the crisis situation, but I think even a second round would really hurt the dollar, let alone if they try to actually say it's permanent.
Well, they're getting close to doing a second round of checks. They're going to. I mean, it's going to be election related. I mean,
well, yeah, you know what it is that, you know, because the markets were going up, all of a sudden they stopped talking about it. Isn't that convenient? Like they were going to do it, and then we're in the stock bubble, which benefits like 2% of the population. But then all of a sudden, oh no, we're not going to do it. But you watch, the market keeps going down a little bit, especially ahead of the election, and what do you know? They'll be on the table talking about it again, because that's all they care about is the stock market. That's all.
Oh, and just voters are going to be, if all of a sudden you get a $1,200 check in October, you're more likely to vote for the person you think gave you the check. It's so
yeah.
Well, who knows how it can be twisted. Again, if I already spent that check when all this started back in on March, and we had that huge dip. I knew there were going to be numerous checks, and I spent that fiat before I even got the check in the mail on that Bitcoin. So
ditto here.
All right. Let me see if there are questions. All right. Now there's no one's typing in BitcoinMeister or doing the super chat, thus I can't see anything. I see a lot of people are talking over there. All right then. So again, we're getting close to the end of the show though. And you guys can ask me questions too. We'll give you a little bit more time. I'll ask Andy about. All right. So I mean, you think the mentality of the United States of America, even if the current president loses, you think we'll still be in a panic situation in 2021?
I think it's just, have you seen or read Atlas Shrugged?
I gotta read the whole thing. I'm planning on reading it. I have not read, so don't give it away. But wait, you've read the entire thing? It's a long book.
It's an amazing book, and also they made 3 movies out of it. If you choose to watch instead of read, but to me, it's what we're seeing in this country, and what that book is about is essentially what we're seeing in the United States. It's almost like Ayn Rand knew way back when she was the teacher of Alan Greenspan what was going to happen way before we even got off the gold standard, because it's just playing out in real time. The financial situations, which is now bleeding over to monetary and social and political, is all coming to a head because of the bad money. And it's hurting industry, it's hurting savings, and people are starting to wake up to it. So it's happening on a worldwide basis, but America has the most to lose because it's benefited so much and lives so far behind its means because of the world reserve's currency status it was given. So yeah, I am far more optimistic about the future because of Bitcoin. Because when I was I was never a quote gold bug, I just believed gold would be a better investment. But when I was in that world, I was terrified for the world because I just didn't see how we would get through the fiat crisis and come out the other side. Now, at least, I see that Bitcoin is here, and Bitcoin is something that can unify the world and bring it to a new level of growth. But we do have to have the pain, and the pain is going to be terrible. And you're already starting to see it now, and it's going to get a lot worse.
What Rand talks about a lot is, the producers versus the not so productive, the leeches. And
that's right.
Right now, you just said, UBI incentivizes people not to work, and looks like we're going in the direction of more and more incentives not to work. We have more and more people complaining, more and more envy, and it seems like there's fewer people who are in motion. I'm seeing this as a positive. Like there's less competition out there. If you are truly in motion now, if you're truly a producer, you've got a unique opportunity to become quite wealthy. I don't know if you agree with that, but
well, there's always an opportunity to become wealthy. The problem is that government is growing so large right now that it's making it more difficult. Like you see these like regulations they want to have in California, 4%. A 0.4% wealth tax, New Jersey also, these kind of things. That's exactly what they're talking about, Atlas Shrugs. It drives industrialists and millionaires out of California, which, by the way, is where the biggest amount, and New York, which is where most of the production has come from. That's the problem when the government gets too big. And that's the direction we're going. So of course, there's always opportunities to be a doer, and there's no place where there's more doers right now than the Bitcoin community. Those people will get wealthy because they've found their Galt's Gulch, a place where they can be productive and get paid for it. But you know what? They're not getting paid by the government. They're getting paid by the Bitcoin community.
All right. Pound that like button, everybody. All right. We do have questions from the audience. They're basically about the same thing, about B Rhodium. And one says, what happened to MWC and B Rhodium? The other one is a weird one. Tell Andy to look at the price of YFI. It's $35,000. Is that the price? Is that the price he wishes B Rhodium was at? Dude, I think you're a little far. You're behind the times there, Lele. You're a little bit behind the times. And I mean, you're talking about I mean, have you been paying attention to this show at all? We really don't have that high opinion. We've said the DeFi thing is kind of it's kind of a joke.
YFI is that Yearn, the one that's $20,000 because they have like no supply, and it's just another junky DeFi that'll be worthless, And as for B Rhodium, it's so funny. Everyone's like, Andy loves B Rhodium. It's like, no, I liked it back then, way back when it was free. I talked about it when it was worthless. It actually got to a pretty high valuation. The people behind it are very smart, good people, well-meaning, but it failed, and it failed for the reason. This is the kind of thing that you follow crypto. It's brand new, and you see how it works out. It's just the kind of thing where you can't compete with Bitcoin as a currency. There's no. I mean, look, I left Litecoin a long time ago. In fact, I left Litecoin. I had a little position the day that SegWit locked in on Bitcoin, because then I said, well, what's the point anymore? And you're going to get crypto dividends on Bitcoin, and it's a much bigger network. So what's the point? And then when you look at like a B Rhodium or B Gold or B Diamond or any of these things, they're just tiny things, and the hash rate dwindles, and eventually they die. But that was a long time ago, and I told people when I left that. It was no big deal. It was a long time ago. And I never said it's going to take over for Bitcoin. I believed in it, and then I stopped believing it.
Well, here's the question, what happened to MWC and B Rhodium? I think the correct answer is the same exact thing that's going to happen to YFI.
Yeah. And I mean, to say what happened to MWC, I mean, has there been anyone on the planet who's been more vocal on the way up and down about MWC? I mean, I still talk about it. I'm still trying to get people to leave and get money out. I probably made more money for people with MWC than 99% of all the people in the altcoin world. Anyone who got it for free or bought it for nothing, and everyone has sold it for windfall profit. And I've been very, very emphatically helping people to sell it. So I'm not sure what the problem is. It became, it was a great idea. The guy who started, great guy, had a great idea. By the way, he's a major Bitcoin holder and believer. But in the process of trying, one Mimblewimble kind of lost its use case. You can see how Beam and Grin are doing. And at the same time, this big Wall Street guy came in and tried to take over the coin. He bought all the supply, he took over the mining, the marketing, and he just basically blew 3,000, 3,500 Bitcoin that went into the hands of Bitcoin holders. Good for them. It was a nice try, but I have no love lost for that guy. He just gave us some Bitcoin.
So and by the way, you can clarify for everyone, that guy is not Trace Mayer.
No, it's funny. I'd love to know what his connection is because, Trace left Twitter literally the day after he was pumping it at the conference in Vegas. I know he never was heard from again. So who knows where he is or what he's doing. But I am quite sure that Airdrop Luigi is not Trace Mayer, but I'm pretty sure they collaborated because it's not a coincidence that they listed on Bitforex like the day that Trace was at that conference and it got pumped up. So there was some collusion, but I'm pretty sure that Trace had nothing to do with it other than being a smart Bitcoiner who made a huge amount from it, I'm sure.
Now, okay, we got a question here. The person types in BitcoinMeister. He says, then why was he, meaning you, relentlessly shilling it to his followers? Well, if you're talking about MWC, he was free marketing team. He was paid. There was nothing hidden there. And he was part of the MWC marketing team. That was his job, J-O-B there. So,
and it was, again, it's not even a matter of pay. I volunteered to help market it and said, I am on the MWC team helping to market it. And I know I wasn't paid anything. I got it for free. And the only times that I ever talked about buying it was when it was at 0.0001 or 0.0002 or under. once it pumped, I said, and I saw what was going on, I said everyone should sell it. So not a single person really has lost a penny. Everyone has made money from it, and I've made it clear over and over again that I mean, I'm not even sure why we're talking about it, because I've tweeted so much about it. I made people a lot of money with MWC, helping to market. That's it.
Yeah. Crypto dividends, baby. Get them for free. Get them for free. That is the key. That's my slogan. Everybody always knows is, why buy anything that you get for free, baby? Keep on collect. Hopefully, we'll have some more of them one of these days. All right. Any closing thoughts here as you approach 50 years of age? It's getting closer.
Just that. I mean, it's been a long road, not just in.
It's still going. It's still going. Hang on.
Oh,
keep going. Keep
okay.
going. Let's see if they can see us. Let's see if they can see us. Yeah, no. I think, guys, can you still see us there? Let me. Yeah, I guess keep on talking, Andy.
Yeah, because I got to run in a minute. Just that it's been my career has been 30 years long. My journey in as I call it, the quest to sound money has been almost 20 years now. I've learned a lot watching how things have changed in the world, being in the precious metals community, the crypto community. And what it comes down to now is that the world is changing rapidly, in every way, political, social, financial. And I think we are more rapidly than people can possibly imagine heading to a digital age where Bitcoin is a major player financially and politically. And I'm looking forward to it because I don't think it's years away now. I think it's very, very soon, and it's very exciting. And I appreciate the Bitcoin community, and I appreciate all the help that you've given me and our partnership in this, because it really has helped.
Excellent. Good way to end it, dude. Well, happy 50th birthday. Keep on holding Bitcoin for 50 more years, baby. Strong freaking hand. And who knows? Maybe Warren Buffett will still be around in 50 years.
Yeah,
man, he keeps on going. If his partner's 97 or 96, maybe life extension technology. He should invest in that. All right, dudes. Tomorrow we'll be back 2 p.m. This week in Bitcoin. Thank you very much, Andy Hoffman. Thank you very much, everybody. Remember, new show every day. Pound that like button. Retweet this, dudes. And I am out of here. See you guys. Thanks, Andy. Bye-bye. All right. And